Hughes. BJ on top of him, punching him from his back. BJ has got incredible back control.
BJ looking for the choke.
He's got the choke. He's down.
It's over. It's over. We have a new welterweight champion.
Over the years, there have been a few UFC fighters who really stepped up and became UFC legends. BJ Penn is definitely one of those fighters. Today, we're taking a look at the life and career of the one and only BJ Penn. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and check back every week for more Ultimate MMA. Penn was born in Hawaii and began studying jiu-jitsu at the age of 17. After falling in love with the sport, Penn moved to California and studied under Ralph Gracie. Penn officially started his career in combat sports as a jiu-jitsu black belt and was the first American to win the World Jiu-Jitsu Championship. This caught the attention of the UFC, who convinced him to begin a career in mixed martial arts, and the rest was history. Penn made his UFC debut in UFC 31, where he faced Joey Gilbert.
Especially when the opponent's there. Oh, he's got the back. Oh, big mistake. He's got himself on it clean.
He's working it now, coming from the sides, and working it in the final seconds of round number one. Mason White pulls him up, and this one is over.
Penn displayed some solid striking ability and brought home the win with superior ground game. The match was stopped early as Penn unleashed a huge ground and pound on Gilbert. Penn quickly came back to face Din Thomas at UFC 32. Thomas was able to be dominant for most of the fight, but eventually Penn got back to standing and threw a knee to Thomas's face that knocked him to the ground.
He's got to work that jab.
Oh, just missed. And he's down. He's down. And BJ Penn finished. Dean Thomas. BJ Penn.
Goodness.
Penn finished the fight once again with a ground and pound. In his third UFC matchup, Penn faced Kyle Luno at UFC 34 and knocked him out with huge strikes.
There is a definite experience factor for Uno.
This finally got Penn a chance to fight for the lightweight championship. Penn would face Jens Pulver at UFC 35, but after 5 hard-fought rounds, Penn was given his very first MMA loss. Penn wasn't going to let a loss slow him down and came back for a huge TKO victory against Paul Creighton at UFC 37.
Penn got the bounce.
Yes, he does. And now he's going to try to tee off.
Bad place.
Yeah. Creighton securely defensive here. Penn left, right, and it stopped. It's over. BJ Penn.
This set up Penn to come back for a championship at the lightweight tournament finals. Penn first faced fellow Hall of Famer Matt Serra as a challenge for the belt at UFC 39.
BJ Penn has finished 2. Oh!
Missed with the kick. Serra back up. Here we go. Let's see what happens here.
After fighting all 5 rounds, Penn managed to win by unanimous decision. After a few fights, the UFC Lightweight Championship was put on hold, and Penn had to come back for UFC 46 to face the legend Matt Hughes for the championship.
BJ's not doing any damage here, but he... Oh! I said that. He lands a big right hand. And he's in his half guard now. He passed. He's mounted.
He's mounted with 45 seconds left in round 1. 45 seconds.
This is a bad spot for Matt Hughes.
Could we have ourselves an upset in the making?
This is worst case scenario for Matt Hughes. BJ on top of him, punching him from his back. BJ has got incredible back control.
BJ looking for the choke.
He's got the choke. He's down.
It's over. It's over. We have a new welterweight champion. A new welterweight champion.
In one of the craziest upsets in UFC history, Penn secured a rear naked choke on Hughes in the very first round, winning the welterweight championship and securing a spot in UFC history. Directly after this win, Penn would leave the UFC due to lack of competition, to put it in his own words. There was a legal battle against Penn by the UFC, and Penn was dropped. This caused Penn to fight in K1 kickboxing and continued to establish himself as a huge name in MMA. After a settlement was established for the lawsuit, Penn came back to the UFC at UFC 58, where he faced the George St. Pierre.
BJ taking it to him.
He sure is, and he loves to throw. He's got very heavy hands.
was a crazy close fight and many believe BJ was robbed, but GSP came out with a split decision victory. This set up St. Pierre to face champion Matt Hughes. But due to injury, GSP pulled out and was replaced by none other than BJ Penn at UFC 63. Unfortunately, in the earlier rounds, Penn damaged his rib and tired out by the last few rounds. Hughes took advantage and scored a TKO victory. Penn dropped to the lightweight division to fight Jens Pulver in a fight set up by the Ultimate Fighter series.
Second round. Penn wants that arm.
He's flattened him out.
He'll be happy to take the neck.
Good job by Jens Pulver in defending. Oh, BJ trapped his left arm.
This could be the beginning of the end.
That's what I'm talking about with the dexterity in the
finish with the choke.
Oh, that's sunk. That's sunk.
It's all over.
Oh,
BJ Penn chokes out Jens Pulver.
At the TUF 5 finale, Penn was clearly dominant on the ground and scored his first UFC win in several years. At UFC 80, Penn once again had a shot at the lightweight title.
Another elbow.
Oh,
That's a big left. Slippery as they are, he's going to go for the choke.
Well, you know what, Mike? The slipperiness actually helps chokes. He's got that one arm trapped. Notice that? BJ's really good at that. He traps that left arm. I mean, that's that physical dexterity that he has with his legs. He's got the choke.
Here we go.
That's it. That's a wrap.
It is all over. BJ Penn is the UFC lightweight champion.
Penn would face Joe Stevenson and in the second round secured a rear naked choke that made Penn only the second fighter to win a belt in 2 divisions. After successfully defending his title against Sean Shirk, Penn called out St. Pierre. This set up one of the most anticipated fights of all time. At UFC 94, we had the very first champion versus champion matchup. It didn't go well for Penn. GSP was dominant in every round and Penn's corner called off the fight in round 4, giving St. Pierre a TKO victory. After controversy from GSP's corner rubbing down the champ with Vaseline between rounds, Penn kept his belt and defended it 2 more times against Kenny Florian and Diego Sanchez. Finally, Penn would lose to Frankie Edgar and move to the welterweight division to face Matt Hughes once again. At UFC 123, Penn took on Hughes and in under 21 seconds scored a knockout victory.
Black trunks for Penn. Camouflage trunks for Hughes. Kick is caught. The prodigy rocked him. BJ Penn has done it. It's all over.
This was one of the peak fights of Penn's career. But Penn went on and he generated 7 losses in a row, a UFC record. After being dropped from the UFC for getting into bar fights, there's still no question Penn changed UFC history and was one of the best fighters in the sport. For his time, Penn took on the best of the best and was one of the UFC's most dominant champions. Was BJ Penn as good as they say he was? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and check back every week for more Ultimate MMA.